What up, what up, what up, everyone? Voice is cracking, but want to say welcome back to yet another episode of the Two Young Pastors podcast, where we talk about Christianity, where we talk about lifestyle, and we blend the two together. If
Mm,
you are a believer who is looking for perspective on culture, looking for perspective on how you should live your life, then this is the place for you. Even if you are an unbeliever, all right. Yet you are just looking to see what individuals are saying, especially about different topics. As
mhm.
we, myself and my co-host, as we indeed grow in ministry and as we progress through ministry, this is the podcast for you. And so, my
Yeah.
name is Juan Sanders. I'm one half of the Two Young Pastors, and I'm joined by my friend, my brother, my fellow pastor, Pastor Elijah Stanley.
What's up,
Bro,
y'all?
how you
What's
doing
up?
today?
Man, I'm doing good, bro. I'm doing good. Man, this has nothing to do with what we're talking about for our episode today. But as you were saying who this podcast is for, bro, I'm starting to realize that there are a lot of individuals out there that are unbelievers, but a lot of their values they picked up in church. So they've transitioned from being a believer to an unbeliever.
It's real.
And a lot of their values are picked up from being in church, which means that they're trying to navigate the same things that we as believers are with our value systems, but without God being their center.
Yeah.
And I feel like what we talk about helps really that full spectrum
Mhm.
of believers. I can I can call them heathens, but I'm not gonna call them heathens. But really, the entire spectrum, really, of people. Like if we have the same value system, I think we're good.
Yeah.
And you'll learn, or you'll get at least something from this podcast. But I've been good, bro. This entire week has been good. I think we've we've been a lot more consistent this week, and I just thank thank you for that as well, man. I feel good this week. How about you?
Bro, this week had a very important conversation. One, the news that I am indeed becoming a senior pastor, becoming a lead pastor, is out. And so we are indeed progressing. I have been serving, of course, at Metropolitan Church in Hyattsville for about 3.5 years, 3.5 years now. But it looks like that is coming to an end. And it's rough. Some days it's positive, other days it's depressing.
Mm,
But I'm looking forward to the family that I'm about to build. And I'm not just talking about me and Janelle, but no matter where I go, my goal is to make family and lifelong relationships with the people who I have an opportunity to pastor. And so, like, I say that because, with that, it comes, well, now that you're like stepping up and now that you're getting like more responsibility, now that you're getting this new space, how are you going to steward it? And I
mm,
think stewardship is always so powerful. I always use this word, um, but I want to properly steward this season. And so I've been like looking at like the various parts of my life, and I'm like, hey, how am I stewarding things? So I've been looking at like time. How am I stewarding my time? And I realized, bro, I'm not stewarding my time the best. And I want to be able to make sure that I'm stewarding it well because I am a very ambitious person. I
you are.
want a lot for me. I want to accomplish a lot in my life. And so I was just looking at certain things and I said, man, I can be more productive. I can
Mm,
I can use my time better. And so I'm trying to do that. Trying to drink more water, trying to be more active.
yeah.
Like, I recognize, hey, I need to lose this weight because I told myself I want to look a certain way by the time I'm married. All right. Like
Mm,
me and Janelle both have a goal to look bad, to look bad.
yeah.
Okay? We
Yeah.
want to look bad for each other, but we also just want to look bad for ourselves.
Hmm.
We want to be attractive. And so, and not saying that we're not attractive now, but we also want to feel attractive,
You want those beach bodies for
Listen,
a photo shoot, bro.
I mean, not necessarily for a photo shoot, I'm still a pastor, but like but like I do want to feel a certain way, and when you're heavier, you feel it. You feel it.
Oh,
Like how it
yeah.
used to feel when I walked versus how it feels now. And dude, it feels a certain type of way. So
Mhm.
I'm feeling good, bro. But I'm excited for us to jump into our topic for today.
Yeah,
We're actually picking up on a previous episode that we talked about friendship. We talked about friendship, I believe, 2 episodes ago,
we did.
and this time, we wanted to talk about why friendships end, why friendships
Mm,
because we have some friendships that last a lifetime, no matter how frequently you talk with a person or how infrequent it is, it lasts for a lifetime. And we also realize that, other times, friendships just don't last, and I never thought that I would be in that camp, that I could say, hey, I've been in a friendship that ended, but nah, I am a person who has gone through that experience, and I've learned a lot from that experience. And so I think that, especially for Christians, I think it's important for us to talk about this topic because many times, a number of us get into it, especially around like
yeah.
the college years. The college
Yep.
years, we go through like our first breakups,
Mhm.
and we don't necessarily know how to like deal with it. And
Mhm.
so, I want us to start off, with this question, Elijah, because before we kind of sort of talk about breaking up with
Mhm.
people, I think we got to start off with like, well, what does healthy friendships look like? Okay,
Yeah.
so like we're nearing 30, right around the corner,
Crazy.
especially for me. I know like you is
Yeah.
next year, me is this year, but what does friendship, especially healthy friendship, look like for you right now in life?
Healthy friendships right now. So I have a close group of friends that I've kind of journeyed through life with. And what healthy friendships look like right now for me is the ability to talk about anything and not be offended by it if they
Mm,
share a different perspective. And what I mean by that is, you and I are very close friends, and we agree on a lot of things. But there are maybe a few things here and there that we're just like, all right, hey, like we don't see it the same way, and that's all right because everyone is entitled to what they believe in. And this is the caveat I'll put on that: as long as it makes sense. Like you are entitled to believe in what you want to believe in, as long as it makes sense. If it
yes,
doesn't make sense, you should be open to being challenged on your
challenge.
position.
Yeah,
Yeah, like there's like don't I think I tell all my friends like I'll say some some dumb stuff about whether like I like the movie Transformers, right?
mhm,
Like for me that's like an apex movie. And a
yeah,
few of my friends are self-proclaimed film uh uh
connoisseurs.
connoisseurs, right?
They're
And they're
movie
like
snobs.
they're they like to describe themselves as that.
Yeah,
And I'll admit, right, Transformers does not meet the film critic level, right?
criteria.
It does not. Its writing is not there. So I'm 100% open to being challenged. So every time I throw out like a movie suggestion, they'll 100% be like, "All right, who's in it? Who wrote it?"
Yeah,
And my weight in suggesting movies has diminished significantly. Like
mercy.
my weight does not count a lot, and my suggestion does not count a lot. And
Yeah,
guess what? I'm okay with that
yeah,
because I know that that's my taste and it's not everyone else's taste. So with my friends right now in this season of life, turning 30, I've pretty much solidified the group of guys, including you and a few others,
mhm,
that I'm okay with doing life with.
yes,
And if no one else joins that group, I can go out on a limb and say like I'm fine with that
yeah,
because we pretty much accept each other for who we are and
love
we
it.
challenge each other as well. So just to make sure that people know, man, like all my friends are not Adventist. They might have grown up in the church at one point, but they're not anymore, and we're able to have conversations and speak on some things that we used to agree at one point and now we don't. And it's great being challenged because in my pastoral ministry, um, we never want to be in an echo chamber where our friends just say the same things. So I think a healthy friendship really looks like, right now in my life, solidifying and being okay with saying, "Hey, it's pretty much us and nobody else,"
Mhm.
uh, for the time being, at least. But how about you, bro? What does a healthy friendship in your life look like?
I'll say this, bro. Right now, like I think healthy friendship looks like individuals who are like who just have each other's back. Um, like I think for me, and my friends, we legitimately like are the individuals who may not call you all the time, may not reach out all the time, but at the end of the day, you know that I will ride for you. You know
Mm,
that if you need something, I got your back. Okay, and I think that that is so crucial,
mhm.
because there are a lot of individuals who are there for you when it's convenient. There are a lot of individuals who say like, "Yo, like." I will rock with you, but they won't actually do it when times actually get difficult.
Yeah,
And so, like for me, healthy friendship, like one, it looks like individuals who are not just there for you when it is good,
yeah,
sunshine and roses, but even when you're going through like the pits of hell. All right, even if health is bad, even if relationship is struggling, that's the type of friendship that I'm looking for. All right,
mm,
and that's the type of friendship that like I think I have amongst like a lot of my friends. I will say this, all of my close friends are Adventists. Um, not necessarily because it has to be,
mhm.
but it's just because
It's
like
great.
I think my life is really just church, and my life is really like here.
Yeah,
It's in my church. And so I recognize I do need to get out, and I do want more friends. I want
mhm.
more guy friends. Um, and I say guy friends because I think I've reached like the place in my life where I accept that some individuals, some guys can be friends with women of the opposite sex. I recognize that like I am not that guy really anymore. Bro, I'm serious. I'm so serious, bro. Like, I recognize I'm just not that guy anymore who's
Yeah,
like, I no, because I think that you have to put proper boundaries up in place with women. And typically, um, if I am friends with a girl, like we share too much. We share too
mm,
much,
mm,
and it can get kind of inappropriate with how much we share, and
yeah,
that's just because that's intimacy. And
that's
so
the
like for
nature, yeah.
me, it's like a most women who are not my fiance at this point are acquaintances at best, you know um uh and I'm more so like friends to them more than I'm expecting to be friends with them. And so, I'll say this, for my example, like one of my friends, um, and I'm talking about what am I saying? An example of like the idea of, hey, friends who I'm there for or they're there for me. One of my friends, real quick, wants to get picked up. He wants to be hired as a pastor. He wants to get, he wants to finally begin pastoral ministry. Um, Friendship to me, I actually had a Mazda 6. This was my first car, 2017 Mazda 6.
Mm,
Cost $17,000, right? When back in the day when I first bought it. I knew that
no
he
price.
wanted to get hired, and I supported him. And I also know that typically one of the best ways to get your name out there or be seen is by going to the Evangelism Council at Oakwood every year in December.
Mm,
And so he had a car that could not make the trip. And we were at Andrews at the time. So, we're in Michigan. He needs to get down to Alabama.
ooh,
And so that's like a 7, 8, that's like a 9-hour drive,
mhm,
right? He couldn't make it in his car. His car was too old. So I was like, bro, you can borrow my car.
Mm,
Like, you can borrow my car for the weekend, like, use it, like, talk to whoever you need to talk to, and, like, I'll be back here. Cause it was snowing and everything in Michigan, and when I say his car was on his last leg, I'm talking over 250,000 miles. Like, the brakes were bad. It was just a bad situation. It was a bad situation, okay? Bad situation. But, that's what I did for, like, that's my boy. So, like, I made sure that um that I gave him that opportunity, bro. So like for me, that's what friendship means, and that's why it's so important for me.
mm,
You know what I'm saying?
mm.
And so second question, because
Man,
it's just
man, man.
oh yeah, yeah,
Right before you go into that, as you're talking about ride or die friends, bro,
yes,
like this thing kind of just popped up into my mind. I remember, and you should never do this, by
yeah.
the way. This was me when God, he is still working on me right now, but there was a point where like I was crazy. And what I did was one of my who I thought was a close friend, who I thought was a close friend, and we'll get into it a bit later. Who I thought was a close friend, he and I would talk, and we'd be in the praise team together. We'd be doing a lot of things together, right? And then I found out, maybe like a few years afterwards, that at that same time, and it was current, that, and I hope my sister does not get mad at me for sharing this.
Uh,
I found out that he was talking to my sister, and we were like friends, bro. So we'd see each other for praise team, we'd see each other for a bunch of things, right?
yeah,
And he was doing it like on the DL, so he didn't tell anybody. And I got so upset. I was like, number one, we're boys, and you're not gonna tell me that you're talking to my sister. Um, and I got so upset, and it ended up not working out, right?
yeah.
And I'm at home, and like they stopped talking, so th- they're going through it, and then I'm at home, and I'm like, "You're talking to who?"
Mercy.
And it ended, and he didn't tell me. So here's what I did, and you should never do this, family. I texted my close guy group,
Yeah,
and I said, "Hey, I need you all. I need you all right now, and we're gonna go over to his house." Uh,
bro. What you
yeah,
actually, bro? You
yeah.
you actually did that?
I texted all my guy friends that were close enough.
That's
I texted
insane.
all of them, and then I said, "Hey, like, we're gonna go over to his house right now, and we're gonna mess him up." And I literally got into my
Pastor,
car. This is way before all of that. This is way before all of
pastor.
that. Way before all of that. I I literally took the keys and I went into my car, and
Yeah,
then my dad like followed me out of the house, got in the car, and he was like, "Hey, if you do this, like it's gonna mess you up."
yeah.
And I was dead serious about going. And you know what all my guy friends said?
What?
They're like, "We'll be there."
That's
Like, be
good.
like, they'll be like, "Hey, like, we'll be there." Be like, they're like, "First of all, are you sure?"
That's
And
messy. That's messy. But I like the commitment.
yeah, they said number one, like, "Hey, are you sure it happened?" And I said, "Yeah." And I was like, "And I need you guys to help back me up." And they're like, "Oh, we got you." And they were all actually getting ready to come, and meet me at that guy's house. And I was like,
That's
"We're gonna,"
crazy.
like, I had like God has worked on me so much, bro. But like when I talk about
Them anger issues
loyalty with
come
friends,
through,
bro.
bro.
Yeah, yeah. Like I could I could trust them to come through. Now we never went. I called it off. And
Obviously,
I'm happy.
obviously.
I'm happy my dad was there to
Yeah,
like talk me through it. But yeah, man, like I like when you talk about loyalty among friends, bro, like that's when I knew that these guys were my ride to die, like ride or die, because they were willing to
yeah,
enter into some sketchy places of life with me,
yeah.
and really had only one question: "Are you sure?" And they said, "All right, we'll be there." And we could talk about a bit later about how that ended. But man, like loyalty, bro, is crazy, and it pops up in situations when you don't want to be alone. And good friends will be there. They'll challenge you, but they'll be there for you.
Yeah, and I wanna. There's something else that I have, but I think we can save it for later. I think we can save it for later
Yeah, yeah.
because, like, don't want so much loyalty that we
Right.
get unbounds, right?
Yeah.
But we'll save that for later. And I just gotta. I want to ask because I think you kind of should already went into it, there. But like, some people don't have standards when it comes to like their friends, and they allow anyone to be in their life, right?
Hmm.
And so, like, bro, what are some standards that like you have, and what are some standards that you wish like other people had, like
Hmm.
when it came to who they're deciding to be their friends?
Yeah, man. Loyalty is the first thing, bro. I think
Yeah,
you and I always speak about it. Loyalty is the first standard you have to have with your friends, bro.
bro, bro. Can we
Loyalty.
tell our story? Can we tell our story?
You, I prefer you tell it because I think you say it better than I would.
Okay, 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 okay. Thank you for the affirmation, by the way. Okay, so real quick, there was like, of course, Elijah and I both hired same year, 2021. He came in January. I started in September, right? Um, and obviously we just have a different cultural understanding than the older pastors. One, the older pastors are more traditional than we are, and so like for me, I dress down, right? I dress down a lot. I want to dress down. I want to create a space where I want to create a space in church, an atmosphere in church where, as long as like you're intentional with how you present yourself, like you're good. So if you want to come dressed in a suit one week, you can come dressed in a suit one week. If you want to come dressed in African garb another week, you can come dressed in African garb another week. You want to come dressed down, just make sure it's intentional. Where I draw the line though is no sweats, no sweats, right? Now, like obviously Elijah came from a different context. Even though like, we have, we came from the same denomination. Remember, like I think episode 2, we
Hmm.
talked about like how our church is broken up into different conferences, and with different conferences come different practices, right? That culture. And so growing up, the expectation was like, hey, even if you don't got the most money, you still gonna dress up, right? But for Elijah, he went to a different school, went to Washington Adventist University, where their standard of dress is a little bit different from ours, right?
Thanks for grace.
And so, like, where at Oakwood University, where I went, love my alma mater, the standard was we're going to try our best to make sure it's a fashion show every single Saturday when we go to church,
Mm-hmm.
right? Other churches, other schools, not the same, right?
Hmm.
And so, for Elijah, when he came on, he wasn't always wearing suits and things like that, and he wasn't always dressing up. And sometimes he would make a couple of comments that had some pastors going, right? And there was an instance where one of our pastors, who's older, approached me and said to me like, hey, like some of the older pastors are like looking at him kind of funny because they're like, what is he doing? Like he seemed weird. And rather than like telling him, "Hey, dude, you really need to you should probably shift gears a little bit." It was he didn't say anything to him. And so it was one of those situations where like you think you're joking with everyone in the room, but like everyone in the room is actually like
Mm.
cracking jokes on you. You're the outsider and everyone else is the insider. And he's already in a minority because our conference is predominantly black, and we have some Indian pastors as well. But he's primarily in a black space, so um, there was always some stuff there, right? And so I said, "Man, I'm not going to keep this to myself. I'm going to tell my boy. I'm going to tell
Mhm.
my boy." And so I went to him and I was just like, "Bro, um, you know, I want pastors, we're regular people too. And so like some pastors are going to just talk about you, you know, because they they were talked about when they came in, and they had to get it when they came in. And so the culture is like the expectation is that you just got it. And if you don't got it, people will look at you crazy like, what is this person doing?
Mm,
And for me, I was just like, hey, let me tell them. Like, hey, bro, some of the things you're saying, it doesn't make sense for some individuals here. You don't gotta say it, just do it. You don't gotta say it, just do it. And dress up a little bit more. Just dress up a little bit more because they won't say it, but it matters a lot to them.
mhm.
And we don't want them on the outside looking at you crazy because you're not doing what they think you should already know to do. And so for me, I was like, I'm going to be loyal to my boy. I'm not going to allow a person to talk about him in my presence, and I'm not going to allow the group of people who we work with to have a viewpoint on him, without him knowing. And so he received it and he adjusted. He adjusted,
By God's
and
grace.
it's been great. And so we praise God for loyalty.
Man, loyalty and I gotta say, bro, like I forgot what I said and what I did when I first got here, but if it wasn't for you that really instilled in me the idea that like, good friends, number one, share and then try to uplift, right? So like I think that is the second part of loyalty is not blind,
Mhm.
right? Where like you're not just supporting the person and being loyal to them, but then you're saying, "Hey, because I'm loyal to you, I need you to listen to me
Yeah.
when I say that you need to grow in this area." And because you did that, man, like I've gotten a full like when I look back at some pictures when I first got to Capitol Hill, and like my suits and my ties and things like that, it was definitely college level stuff.
Yeah.
And now when I dress, I do with the mindset of, hey, I'm already young, right? And my appearance is supposed to be something that allows me to grab people's attention and then give them maturity that my face doesn't really give me right now.
Yeah.
So I had to grow into that, but it took a good friend like you really to step into my life and be like, "Hey, you need to be able to grow in this area." So man, outside of loyalty and that, what are some other areas in your standards for your personal friendships?
I prefer for my friends to not be gossipers.
Mm,
Um, because one, I think what it tells me is that if you are willing to gossip about other people, I think that you can probably gossip about me. And while I don't mind being talked about, and having individuals talk about me, I just understand that it can just produce a lot of mess. And
mm,
so, like for me, one of my standards when it comes to like friendships is like I want my friends. If we are talking about a person, typically it's because we want to help that person, or we
mm,
recognize, hey, that thing right there, we gotta avoid falling into, like, if a person is cheating or if a person is just wilding out and having sex with a whole bunch of people, like there has to be like some understanding that like we're having this conversation because we understand how we could be that person, how we could end up there as well,
mhm,
not just to talk about them and possibly slander them just for no reason, but somehow, some way, it has to relate back to us.
mhm.
Like, and so for me, I don't really like gossiping about individuals, especially individuals who I'm not really even interacting with.
Yeah.
Like, I could see if it's like, hey, I'm talking to you about like a boss, or I'm talking to you about a church member who was really like killing me.
Mhm.
But that is because I'm trying to process through what's happening. And so I say, and like I told you, like a couple episodes ago, like you get in trouble when you talk. And so
Yeah.
and so I prefer, if like the people who are close to me are not talkers, are not like people
Mhm.
who like talk about other people and who talk down on
Down, yeah.
other people. So in addition to loyalty, bro, the presence of gossip, that's a red flag for me, man. That's a
Mhm,
red flag for me,
mhm.
honestly. So
I'm
you
with
have
you
any
on that.
more? You got any more?
Ambition. Ambition.
Ooh,
Like
I
I need
love
some
that.
friends with ambition.
Yeah.
Like between you, me, and a few others, bro. Like I really do believe in the saying, you become like your friends.
Hmm.
Like if your friends have a ceiling, then that's where your ceiling probably is as well. And being around friends that I think have an ambition and a goal in life is super important to me. It might not be the same goals, right? But they have something and they're doing something.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that spirit of not laziness, but the spirit of unfocused um energy or
Hmm.
unfocused resources, if you let it, it'll like not jump on you, but it'll start to infect you. Like I think of it like a disease
Hmm.
where like if you're trying to do something in your life, like me and you, right? Like we're in the early part of our ministries and we're building good habits or we're trying our best to build good habits, right?
Hmm.
If we're surrounding ourselves with other pastors that aren't having good habits, like subconsciously we'll be like, well, they're able to get the results that they're looking for without putting in this amount of work. It'll naturally start to rub off on us. And I think it's really important for you and me when and those listening and watching online. Like if we need friends, loyalty I think is number one. And 100% talkers or gossipers, it doesn't vibe with me either. And then ambition or goals in life.
Yep.
Um, I think that's a top three for me because like I want my kids to be around my friends,
Yeah.
right? And I'm not gonna give my kids bad role models.
Yeah.
So if you're and and the thing, bro, I think people might misunderstand it is I'm not talking about you want to be a millionaire or you want to be rich. I'm saying like you are someone that can put your head down and grind.
Yeah.
Like if you have a goal in mind, you can accomplish the goal. You might need help and you might need time,
Yep.
but there's no doubt in anyone's mind that you'll get it done. My cousin Darnell, right? Like
Mhm.
he is someone that when he puts his mind to fixing his car, when he puts his mind onto something, he'll move and get that thing done.
Yeah.
And I have some friends that challenge me in finances, some other friends that are in health
Mhm.
and in tech, and we're all together and we're all building. We talk about things, and it's just great to see how if you gauged us 5 years ago, we
Yeah.
have a different we have the same love, joking spirit with each other where
Yeah.
I think all of our all of our girls are like, we can't hang around with you guys when you're together because it's so annoying. And I
Yeah.
get because we have inside jokes, we talk about stuff,
Yeah.
and they don't like that because they feel like they have
Excluded.
not excluded but competition.
Ooh. Ooh. Ooh.
A
Ooh. That's
and,
real.
bro, and I gotta say, you're a part of that too.
Yeah.
Like, Leah for sure is just like, "I don't like it when you guys start talking because I don't understand what you guys talk about." And I'm like, "I get that." Like, I'm starting to understand that now that we have
Yeah.
our own language.
I love it. I do love it. I would just add this one thing. And it's not like I don't have like a this is most important, that's second. I don't have a ranking. Um, but another thing, I would just say self-control,
Mm,
right? Because once again, this ties into what we talked about when we talked about friendship before. Once again, if you didn't watch it, listen to it. Make sure you watch it or listen to it. Okay, 2 episodes ago.
yeah,
But self control is so important. Like if you did not have self control, when I shared what I shared with you, you would have gone to like the people, because I told you who the people were.
mhm,
Like I won't always tell individuals who said what. Like if you're in a circle, like you'll get everything,
mhm,
right? But if I don't think that you can get everything because you don't have self-control, like I'm not going to do it. So self-control is important.
right,
Not just because like you know, men tend to have anger issues because it's the only emotion we feel comfortable expressing a lot of times. You know, but also like it's important because a lot of men like to cheat. And it becomes real weird when like you as a friend gotta be like, bro, you either need to like tell your girl, you need to tell your fiance or your wife that you did this. And I don't want to be put in that situation like where I gotta be in the midst of like that type of mess. So self-control. And you what you look like you about to say something. You about
Would
what
you
you about
lie?
huh?
Would you like would you n not enable, but would you help protect your friend in that situation?
When you say protect, like how
Like
would I protect? How would I protect?
so if they cheated on their spouse or their partner,
Yeah.
right? Like, "Hey, Javon, like, this thing happened with me, but I don't want you to tell da 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 because
Oh, I
it's
wouldn't
gonna."
tell.
You
I
wouldn't
wouldn't
tell?
tell.
Okay,
No,
okay.
I'd be like, "Hey, bro, you should tell. You should say something." And
Mhm,
if they don't say anything, oh well, you
mhm.
know, like God, like as long as like old girl don't come to me and be like, "Hey, I think he's cheating." I'm pretty sure I'll be like, you know, he might be, and you know, I think you should talk to him.
Yeah,
Or I think I would probably say, I think you should talk to him then.
mhm.
Like, I think that's a healthy way. That's a healthy way so that I'm not in there. Hey, I think you should talk to him then.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I can't confirm or deny. You know, that's sensitive.
It
Y'all
is,
should
yeah,
have a conversation. You
yeah,
know, and you should
yeah.
question if you want to be in a relationship with a person who you have to, have those concerns with. You know, I just
Mm,
I just don't want to be in it. I don't, because a lot of times I'm very like I don't. I'm once a person gets married, I don't want to say I'm more loyal to one person over the other.
mhm.
Because my loyalty to my friend makes me want to look out for their partner because they're
Mm,
one. They're one.
right, right.
And so like because you're one with this person, I as a friend, I can't have you like harming her and also harming the image of what God is supposed to do in your relationship. Because you want to be out here like frolicking and gallivanting, and so like and so like I just think that that's so important. But we've been on this topic for a minute. We've been on this
Yeah,
topic.
yeah, 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 yeah.
So like we talked about like the good stuff, right? Um, I want to ask, you know, because I think this is crucial as to why some friendships don't last. But like how many friendships like can you handle at like simultaneously? Like how many friendships do you think you can handle at a time?
I gotta be honest, I think a good 6. I I can
Six.
handle a good 6 like, good solid relationships.
Hmm.
And what I mean by handling is responding to their texts on time, calling them, and making time to hang out,
Hmm.
and having, like, meaningful conversations, on a weekly basis. So,
Weekly
like,
is crazy, bro.
that's the way I say it, on a weekly basis. Like, or
Weekly is crazy, bro.
biweekly, tri-weekly, I don't know.
No. I mean, if that's what's good for you, that's what's good for you.
Like, okay, so then I'm gonna amend it then a bit.
Okay.
On 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 a monthly basis, because there is one close friend I have,
Are you
uh,
changing? Are you changing up? Like
I
what?
100% am because I'm looking at what I actually do and it's not matching up.
Not you not
Like
practicing what you preaching.
I think no, no,
Come on,
no.
pastor.
It's me, it's me, it's me, it's me. Like this is what I'm thinking of, like, how I can manage, like, 5 or 6 solid relationships,
Yeah,
5 or 6 solid, meaningful friendships is I'm on the phone with you or I'm texting you back at least once a month.
yeah,
Um, and we're able to have a good conversation about where we are. Uh, I can handle that. There are some friends that I'll only text maybe twice a year or call twice a year and just catch up, and that's just to maintain a good connection and a good friendship. And there are other friends that I'll only have an interaction with on Instagram,
mm,
because that's the way that we stay in connection with. But bro, I gotta be honest, 6 6. I can handle 6.
Yeah.
If you ask me for more, I'm never gonna say no, like,
Mhm.
"Oh, no, I can't," right? But I don't I don't think I could honestly handle more than 6, and if you can handle more than 6, I would love to know how you do it, because I can't I have I'll be honest and say this,
Okay.
my memory
Your
my
memory.
memory
Your
for a
memory.
is very selective. I'm not gonna say I have bad memory. I have very selective memory. And
Yeah.
what I, and what I mean by that is you can share some stuff with me, and if my mind naturally doesn't categorize it as important, right? It goes back and it's
Mm,
filed away.
mm,
And then when you say something, it comes back
mhm.
to the front.
Yeah.
And if it's just a passing by thing, it's not stored at all.
Yeah.
And it would take a lot for it to come back. So when I say meaningful relationships that I can manage, around 6, and we're talking at least once a month.
Yeah.
But you probably are able to manage more than me though, because you're a bit more organized in that sense.
So like I'm actually guilty of being the man who has prioritized professional excellence and success over personal life,
Mm,
especially like in relationships. I'll be honest, um, I'm bad at this, bro. But like last week, me and Janelle, we were watching a podcast. Michelle Obama and her brother. I don't know his name. I don't know his name. But because I wasn't even watching like the full podcast, I just came in on her. She was exercising and she was watching it, and they had Issa Rae on, and they were talking about like friendships for the portion that like I caught. And so if you're interested in that, by all means go watch it, right?
mhm,
But what ended up happening is that they were talking about friendships and the relationships, and they were talking about like how they navigate differently um in their personal lives. And one of the things that like Michelle that she said, and I felt convicted. She was like, typically women are like are the ones who are better at maintaining deeper relationships than guys
mm.
are. Like her brother was just like, yeah, like when we get together, we don't even talk like that, or we don't
That
really
checks out.
get like too deep into it, and we may hit each other up here and there, like, but we're not like intentional, right? And that's me. I like my friendships look the way they do right now, in terms of us being there for each other whenever we need it,
Mhm.
because I have not been the deliberate friend who reaches out to his people enough.
It's a
I
two-way street. It's a two-way street.
I'll say this. I'll say this. I'm guilty that I'll allow my friends to reach out. Like, once you have me, you have me. Okay. But I will say, I have been depressed in ministry, like for like, I have been depressed. And the reason why I've been depressed is just because, like, there's been a learning curve, and there's been like, you have to sacrifice a certain part of yourself for ministry, like, um, yeah, like, and so because of that, there are times where you're sad because this is still a job. And so, like, there are things and dreams that you thought could happen. And when they don't happen, you have to sit with that. And
Mm.
I'm learning how to deal with that more and more as I pasture longer and longer. And so, because of like that depression, because of those down days or down seasons, I may not always want to reach out, but once you got me, you got me. Like,
Mm.
once you call me, you call me. And I can rationalize myself out of anything. I don't know if there's anyone listening, but I don't know if there's anyone listening who can relate, right? But Elijah, I've been in situations where I'm like, oh man, I should call this person. But I was like, how long are we going to talk? Because like when I
Ah,
talk, like we
that's
talk
true.
for hours, and I'm like, I need to sermon prep, I need to go to the gym, I need to do this, I need to do
Mm.
that. And like I stress myself out so much that like I don't go to the gym. I didn't end up sermon prepping. I ended up
Yeah.
like playing Madden or playing my PS5,
Yeah.
and it's just like I could have called them if it were for
Yeah.
this. If I could have called, you know. And so I've rationalized and I've talked myself out of reaching out several times, but you know, when my friends have called, typically if I'm not in a meeting or something like that, like I am good for talking to them and having good quality conversation for a good minute.
Mhm,
And so, I want to say that I can manage. I want to say that if I'm being intentional, I think I can manage like 10,
mhm,
like 10 friendships.
mhm.
And what I mean by that for me is reaching out at least once a month and having like a good conversation. Like I got Janelle, she's the person who I talk to every day. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? But when it comes to like friends, I think I can meaningfully show up um with my friends at least once a month. And I'm talking about the friend most of my friends don't live close. Most of my friends live in other states, right now. There are only a few of you who live in Maryland right now. I think and I'm thinking of like four.
Mhm,
Like 4 of the 10 live in Maryland right now. And so because of that, the other 6, live farther. And the same way that I haven't been deliberate, most of them haven't been deliberate either.
mhm,
But I understand it because I know what their heart is for me. Like for
mhm.
me, I'm not like oh, they not reaching out type of person. I think that's petty. Like
Yeah.
I'm not a person who's like questioning, are we really friends? No, I don't gotta like I know I care about you as an individual and as a
Mhm.
person. So as long as I care about you as an individual and as a person that supports you, I will be your friend. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? I'll be
right.
your friend. So I would say ideally, if I'm my best self, 10.
10,
10
10.
relationships. 10
Mhm.
relationships. Yeah. Yeah.
Have you ever had a time where you've had to pause or end a relationship with a person that you thought you were close with?
Yes. 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 An individual who is actually going to be like who's going to be one of my groomsmen, man. We Our friendship did pause. It did pause. Um, and it wasn't just one person. But what I can tell you is that I definitely did play a major role in that, bro. I did
Mhm.
play a major role. Um, I'll say this. I'll say this, and I need to get another chair. I do because I'm be using a stool and it's like wood.
Oh,
It's like a wooden chair.
you
Uh,
you're uncomfortable right now.
so like the reason why is because I'll be going for like aesthetics. I'll be going for aesthetics way too many times, and so like I got a chair, like that's like a industrial type type. If you're watching on
Oh,
YouTube, like if you're watching on YouTube, you can see it. If you're not
that's
watching
not
on
a fun
YouTube,
chair to sit on.
it's it reminds you to stand up. Um, but if you're not watching on YouTube, you should subscribe to us on YouTube as well. But anyway, um, yeah. So what ended up happening is like, I met him my sophomore year at Oakwood, and like we were cool and everything. But what I did not know, what I was not like fully aware of is like I would make comments that were rude to people. I would say mean stuff.
Like off the cuff stuff?
Like yeah, like I wasn't really picking up uh that I was saying things that were too blunt, saying things that were offensive. And I also I don't have control over my face. I understand that. So or I don't have control over my eyebrows.
Mhm.
And so like I have a face that many individuals interpret as, do you think I'm stupid?
Mm,
Or is something wrong with me? And like that face is not a you're dumb type face. That face is a I'm trying to understand you type face. You know
yeah.
what I'm saying?
Because you have that face on right now. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, it's a I'm trying to understand you type face.
Mhm.
And when my eyebrows start moving, which is another reason why I wear hats a lot because it covers up the eyebrows sometimes.
Get
Um,
Botox, bro.
no, but what ended up happening is that I would make comments that were bothering him,
Mhm,
and um, he was not communicating it with me that it would happen. But he wasn't always communicating it with me because he didn't think that I would listen. You know, because for me at the time, I operated out of this ideology that like my intention is not to hurt you. And that was the truth. My intention wasn't to be rude. And for me, I was like, intention matters a lot. Like we
mm,
get mad about the things that other people do a lot of the times, and like a lot of times people's intentions aren't bad, like the truth is that the truth hurts like a lot of times.
mhm.
Like there are a lot of things that we don't want to accept and it hurts.
It does.
But the reality is it's not necessarily about what you say, but it's about how you say it.
Mhm.
And for me, a person who came from a broken home, a very combative home, like I was used to hearing people say wild stuff and also saying it in a wild way.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
like, like I promise you, like my mom does not know how to talk to us at times. Like, if she's angry, like I literally got to be like, stop talking like that. Like, and yes, I understand that's crazy for a child to talk to their mother like that,
Mhm.
but it's like I say that because just like a check yourself.
Right,
Like we're grown and we're family. Like I understand you're upset, but you need to regulate a little bit
right,
more
right.
so that like because I was like, hey, we talk to people the way we do because we learned it from you.
That's
Like, like fix it because like I'm not gonna have children walking around not talking to people the right way because of it. So what ended up happening is, friend was actually going through a lot at this point in time. And I think he was really feeling that a number of individuals were against him. And I think I kind of sort of like used up my bank. You used
mm,
up my bank of um rough remarks and rough statements and bad tones, to the extent that it began to just overflow. Also, some information about him had got out. And, because I was known as a talker, right? You know, and we praise God for deliverance. I became known as a person who spills the beans, who can't hold his water.
mm,
Because of that, he thought that I was the individual who shared the information that ended up spreading.
mm.
I didn't,
Okay.
right? I wasn't that person. And I wasn't that person because once I got to grad school, my mindset was, yo, Juwan, you're not saying other people's business.
Mhm.
When other people would tell me other people's business, I would be like, I don't think we should talk about this. And I would go back to that person and say, hey, I heard this from this person.
Yeah.
They told me, you didn't tell me. They told maybe you should
Mhm.
reassess who you're sharing your information with. Okay. That conversation turned into him thinking that I thinking that I
Sure.
was a person who, because if you're doing a whole bunch of different things, to that person who looks like, man, this person's not for me, he can associate or they can associate anything with you, right?
Mhm.
And so what ends up happening is I find out through a mutual friend, right, who he had a falling out with. Um, and the friend said, you should check to see if y'all still cool. Cause that's not what I heard. And I said, what?
Ooh,
That's not what you what? what
ooh.
do you mean? What do you mean that's not what you heard? Um, and she was just like, hey, all I know is that like he would just be coming to me and talking to me a whole bunch about like how like he don't like what you're doing and he don't like what you're saying and
Mm.
he don't mess with you and he just be talking a whole lot about you. And I was like, and so I actually confronted him, you know, like in the past, I would just be like, ah, but nah, like I had started my coaching program. I was becoming a new person, and I confronted him. As soon as I got the news, I was like, "Hey, this person said this about you, and said that you were saying these things about me." I was like, "Is it true?" And his response was like, he texted me, he was like, "Bro, we should talk." And
Mm.
I was just like, and so we met up, had the conversation, where he began to share all the stuff that he was hiding from me, and not sharing with me, and
Mhm.
his reasons for not sharing them with me. And while I was having a conversation, I put up a good like, I get it. All right, where do we go from here?
Mhm.
And he was like, initially, I was just gonna let it like just fade. Like once we leave here, we would go our separate ways. You know, um, and crazy thing is that I could kind of sort of sense him. Like I could kind of sort of sense him, um, like operating differently.
Mhm.
But I kind of sort of was just like, all right. I mean, people change.
Mhm.
Um, and when he finally was honest, I was like, this is the shift that I had been sensing like all school year.
Mhm.
And so crazy thing is that like once I got in my car, that thing hurt so much, bro.
Mm.
It, bro, it, it, f- it, because we like, when I say brothers, like even an annoying brother that he was,
Yeah.
like that, bro, it was a breakup. It was a friend breakup, man.
Mm.
And when I say the grief was insane, and Janelle still doesn't like him. Janelle is still like, he should not be in your party.
Mm.
But what ended up happening is that bro, this thing made me so paranoid. Like it made me so paranoid to the extent that I was just like, who was he sharing this information with?
Yeah.
Like, who was he talking to me? Like, who I've been interacting with, and I'm looking like Boo Boo the Fool.
Yeah.
Like, and no one is saying anything to me. Um, who would like, and I'm calling different friends, like, hey, is it true? Like, do I suck? Like, hey, is it true? Am I this? Am I that? And like I had to like sit in a space where I was like, hey, be honest with me. I was like, I need my friends to be honest. Like, I need you to tell me the truth. That's better right now
Mhm.
than nothing. I need you to tell me the truth. Like, do I suck?
Right.
um and so, like that was like the first time where I was really receiving and receptive to the fact that like I do have problems
Mm.
that I have to get past, even on the friend level.
Mhm.
Because when I went through a breakup in undergrad, I saw that I had some stuff that I had to work on. But then I was like, oh man, I got stuff that I have to work on even now.
Even now.
I have this gossiping, you know, um, bag on my head that people are attaching to me, and I got to worry about this even now. And no one came to me and said, Jawan, people are starting to think that you're a talker.
Mhm.
Maybe you should chill. No one was saying that to me, but they were saying it about me, and no one was saying, hey, bro, you can come off as though like you're rude, but they would say it about me behind my back, and there's this understanding about me amongst other people. And so, I became extremely paranoid. Like, who do
Mm.
I trust? Who can I depend on? And so the pandemic happened at that point in time.
Yeah.
And I had to sit home and process through like, dang, so who are
Mm.
my real friends? Like in a time where like things seem extremely lonely, in a time where things seem extremely distant, I'm like, who are my real friends? And I was like, thank God I'm graduating this year and I'm about to start ministry. And thank God I can get away from this space because I don't know who knows what. I
Mhm.
don't know who has said what, and I need a clean start.
Mm.
So I started Metro, and I said it's time to reinvent yourself one more time.
Yeah.
And so that is the friend breakup.
Yeah.
You'll probably have to come back another day for, and that was a long explanation,
No, that was
uh,
great.
but you
Well,
you'll
not great that it happened, but it was a great explanation of what
yeah,
transpired.
yes. And so like we'll probably have to like talk about like mending it, um, how you mend relationships another time. But you know, bro, that season sucked.
Mm.
It really sucked. Um, and there are very key moments in my life that have made me the person that I am today. That's one of the things that I've contributed that's contributed to who I am today.
Mm.
Um, and how I show up, you know, even like how like when we hang out and like Alexis, she may talk about like the past, and how I used to be in the past and stuff like that. And it's just
Yeah.
like, oh wow, I can't remember it. Like,
Yeah.
cause like I've literally blocked out so much of that and I've just become such a different person, you know,
Wow. Wow.
you know.
Wow.
Yeah. And I don't like and I need to tell more people like I don't let's not bring that up. Like, cause I don't like going back and talking about it. Like
Yeah.
I don't
Because it
remember
sounds
it.
like a different person.
Like, yeah, like I don't remember it. And I'm happy I don't.
Mhm.
I'm happy I
Yeah.
don't. Like, cause
Yeah.
like I'm hearing you say it, and it's just like, oh wow, I can't believe that that's me because I don't operate in that way at all anymore. You
No.
know? And so yeah, that's me. That's me though. That's me.
N n
Did you have an instance like that? I know we've been on here for a minute.
not even close. Not even close. Not even close. I'm not gonna lie. Not even close. Like, I'm here and you're like past Jupiter and Mars, bro. Like you're like what first, as we kind of bring this episode to an end, I gotta affirm you. Like, it takes a really different person that's built different to be able to assess themselves like that and not allow, because you could have really gone two ways. You could have gone the route of, well, he's wrong and I
True.
am who I am, and everyone else has to change and accommodate me because this is who I am, and what I did wasn't wrong, right? But instead, you chose the path of, hey, let me figure out what growth looks like and take in because this person that was close to me felt this way being in my presence. And you took the route of growth, man. So it takes a different person to not take the easier way out. And you took the hard way out, you processed through it. And I just gotta affirm you as a friend, bro. Like you did something that not a lot of people can do. And you worked your way through it. And from what I'm hearing, it sounds like y'all were able to mend it because he's gonna be in your bridal party.
Truly, and I do appreciate the recognition. And I'll say this: um, there are a lot of individuals, right, who do need to end friendships, right? Who may need to like have a conversation, like, "Hey, we I don't I think either we need to take a break as friends, like we could be cordial,
Mhm.
or whatever, or we need to end it." because the truth is that some of us really are in situations. Some of us are the individual who's being like abused and in a friendship and does not even know it. Some of us are the abuser and possibly needs like the wake up call, like to know that what you're doing, it's inappropriate, it's not okay,
Right.
it is harmful, and you need the wake up call.
Yes.
And not all abusers are willing and able to see that what they're doing is abusive or problematic. Yet it still takes a friend to say something. And
Mhm.
so, like, as we are wrapping up, man, I just have to say, um, not all friendships are willing to last, and not all relationships need to last, because there are so many of us who have such low standards for the people who we hang out with, that we allow literally anyone and everyone to be around. And I'll say this, like, we are wondering why like some of our like relationships, like romantic relationships, struggle, and it's just because you have such low standards when it comes to friends. Like your boyfriend or your girlfriend is treating you terribly, but you can't see it because you've allowed like your friends to treat you terribly. You've
Mm.
allowed yourself to treat your friends terribly, and it's probably because you came from a dysfunctional and broken home.
Yeah.
But the reality is that, hey, we all need a wake up call, and we all need to like look inside and self reflect and say, hey, you know, it's possibly me in some way. If you are the abuser, you have to be self aware enough to learn of your abusive tendencies.
Mhm.
If you are the abusee, you need to see why you are willing to be abused. And I want to say this, a number of abusers, even though like they're the abuser in some area, typically they're experiencing some abuse or some neglect or some manipulation in another area. That's how things typically work. A lot of times I would end up saying abusive and harmful things because of the fact that abusive, manipulative, harmful things, because of the fact that I was either upset and I was like responding to neglect. I was responding to um like being upset that individuals were not caring for me in the way that I was caring for them.
Mhm.
Because people pleaser, right? People pleaser, approval addict. And so I was always, a lot of times, I was the friend who was trying to continuously prove that I was good enough to be the friend, and that
Mm.
individuals should stay around me. And so when that happens, you can carry the relationship more times than not. And if you are not careful, the other relationships can be the relationships that get the brunt of the frustration, the brunt of
True.
the fallout, because you're gonna take that out on someone,
Mhm.
you know. And so it takes reflection, it takes time, it takes understanding yourself so that you can see it, so that you can
That's
see
true.
it. And
That's
so,
true.
I guess this conversation isn't done because I feel like we can't necessarily talk about the problem without bringing up the solution and the hope, because there is
Yeah,
better. There, like,
there is better.
so, we're going to sign off here. But listen, um, please make sure that you subscribe to the Two Young Pastors
Mhm.
podcast. All right. Myself and Elijah, we are so grateful for the community that's slowly but surely building, because we want to add value to your life. So
Mhm.
remember, we are on all streaming platforms from um, iTunes to Spotify. We're
Mhm.
also on YouTube. If you want to see us, right? If you want to see the people that you're listening to, right? Subscribe to our YouTube channel. All right. But please like this, share it, save it, download it, so that we can continue to build this. And please, if you are indeed being blessed by this and you possibly have any questions, comment,
Comment, comment.
because we can possibly address it in the chat, or we can address it in a later episode. So thank you so much once again. And we hope that you enjoyed the rest of your day. Elijah, do you have any final words?
Nah, man. I appreciate you for being open, and I'm looking forward to seeing how all of our friendships can grow. So, we want to know your friendship stories, the messy ones too,
We do.
and hopefully we can start sharing them in our small community. Until the next one, y'all. Catch you later.
Peace.